Hey there, everyone. It's Jim from the Paranormal Fellowship. So you can only get ghost experiences or ghost interactions when you're actually doing a ghost hunt. You can't get them during the daytime or when you're just walking around on a tour. Well, stay tuned. Let me talk to you about that. First off, I am out here at what's called the Stand By Me Bridge. So it looks like the trestle in that movie Stand By Me. But I can't go on it today because they have all the grates up. And I don't know if you could tell or not, but the lake is angry. It's really, really high. All right, so let's get on with the story about you can't have encounters with the ghost during daytime or during just the tour. Heavens forbid. So, again, I've been doing this for many, many years. And this is back probably in the early 2000s. I was doing a tour with a group of friends that had never ghost hunted before. And it's going over, everything. And we come up to this one area where we're at Hillview Manor. And we're on the second floor. And we're by Jeffrey's room. For those of you that have ever been there, you know what I'm talking about. For those that you haven't, there's the story of a 12-year-old boy in period clothing that loves baseball, that patients, whatever you want to say, patients, residents, however you want to refer to it, would see him and then they would die shortly after. At first, everyone was calling him the messenger of death or, whatever. And then it was like, no, he's just coming there to comfort everyone before he passes. Me, I've never really had any good experiences in that room. So, I really wasn't interested in what they were doing and talking about in there. So I was with another one who was sitting there, and she was standing outside in the hallway with me because she was afraid to go in the room. Now, my personal experience is fear attracts paranormal activity. So as we're sitting out there, we're standing between the room, Jeffrey's room, and right to the right of us is the doorway that goes downstairs. Now, for those of you that ever been into any nursing home or business, those are fire doors. They're big, they're heavy, and they're on a spring mechanism to stay closed. So while we're sitting there talking, all of a sudden we hear this little, the door handle rattling. And I look down and you can see the doorknob sort of rattling. And then all of a sudden, the girl I'm standing there with, she turns and she sees it, and the door opens up about 6 or 8 inches. And she screams, and the door slams shut. And I'm laughing because this is what we're there for. We're there to see stuff like this. So I open the door just to make sure there's no one messing. And I walk into that stairwell, and I look, and there's no one in that stairwell. There was just us. So now, naturally, after the tour was over and this woman calmed down a little bit, we go downstairs, and I'm telling the manager of the building and everything, who's a friend of mine, what happened. And she goes, not everything you see or experience like that is paranormal. Well, all the windows are closed. Yeah, there was no one there opening it. I don't know what else could open a fire door that's on a spring-loaded lever. Anyways, it's one of those things where she didn't see it, so it's not real. Oh, well. We seen it. We knew what was going on. So later on that night, we go up to the 3rd floor. Now, this is my favorite area. It's not scary or anything, but the story of the 2 gentlemen up there who like to play around and have fun and do things, that's my attitude. So we got along really good. So in this back room, there was a piano set up on each of the far walls, those organ piano type things. And I'm a firm believer in the flashlights, not just, turn the flashlight on. And then if it happens to pop on, see, it's here. No, you got to give it a reasonable explanation where it could be. So I always use a number system. I pick a number at random, ask it to turn the light on it when I hit that number. If it turns on at that number, I take it. If it turns on either before or after, then I don't take that as evidence. So I put one of those, mag lights, mini mag lights on each one of those organ pianos, whatever you want to call them. And I said, okay, guys, go ahead and ask questions and have them turn the flashlights on for your answers. Well, naturally, they're doing, is there anybody here? Do you know you're dead? When did you die? How did you die? No. So I stopped them right there. And I said, listen, this is obviously a music room. They got 2 organs in here. So if there's a ghost in here, they're interested in music. So I started asking questions about music. Who was the better musician? Who played the organ better? What type of music did you like? And we're getting a lot of good flashlights, answers right on cue to these questions. So the one lady that was freaked out because the door open was standing there with me, and I'm going to just call her Jane for the sake of the video. Like I said, I don't use people's real names in these videos. So I said, if you want to see Jane stand up in the middle of the room and dance the hokey pokey or dance the jig, turn the lights on when I hit 3. I hit 3 and those flashlights turned on, the brightest they've ever been. Those things were full beam, full blown out there. So they're like, and she's real scared and everything. She says, hold on. If you want to see Jim dance, go ahead and turn them on when I count to 5. And they counted 5 and nothing happens. I said, hey, deal's a deal. I asked the question, they answered, so get out there and dance the jig. So she got out there and she did her best jig, and everyone's laughing, having a good time, which in my personal belief, a ghost is however they were when they were alive. If they're fun when they're alive, they're fun when they're dead. If they were an asshole when they're alive, they're an asshole when they're dead. So another night, I'm doing a tour. 3 female friends came up, and we're on another floor that's a good favorite of mine, the first floor with the nurses station. You always see like shadow people, unless someone brings out those darn green laser lights, and they turn those on, and then it just, everything's so bright, any shadows that are out there just automatically disintegrated. So I'm like, okay. So we're out there, and there's just the 4 of us, those 3 women and me. We're walking down there, and I'm explaining the history and some of the, shadow people I've seen, and, listen to the different sounds and stuff like that. And it was a cold night, so we had all the fire doors were closed to keep any breezes or anything from going on. So we're walking from what they call the atrium in Hillview back up towards the nurses station. And there's one set of double doors there. And again, they're fire doors, they're spring-loaded, they're very, very heavy. And these 3 women are so afraid, they're like hugging each other. And I'm just sort of laughing because I wouldn't let them turn flashlights on or anything. I said, if you need to see, only thing you need to see is with your eyes. And if you're lost, you can just grab hold of me and follow me. And I said, no flashlights. So as we're walking, they're getting more and more scared, more and more scared. And again, in my belief, fear triggers, paranormal activity, ghostly activity. It's something about it. I don't know. So as we're about from, I'd say 6 feet away from these fire doors, all of a sudden the fire door on my left opens. We're talking a good 1.5 to 2 feet, and then slams shut. And these women, I know, they denied it. I know they peed themselves. They were screaming so loud. So me, again, I'm laughing, and I go running towards the door, looking out the windows in the door and looking down the hallway, open the doors. There's no one there. And again, that same manager's like, oh no, that could be anything. That wasn't paranormal. I'm like, yeah, don't be a hater just because it's not happening to you. So like I said, you could go ghost hunting and you could have some activity. You can go during the day and you may have some activity. You may be having activity on the tour. The very first time I ever went to Hillview, and I was the second group to ever investigate there. As they were giving us the tour, you could hear what sounded like IV machines going on, and you can hear like curtain sliding on the curtain rails. So, like I said, just because it's a tour doesn't mean you're not going to have activity. Just because it's daylight doesn't mean you're not going to have activity. And everyone always asks me, well, what gear should I use? What gear should I use? Well, there's all kinds of stuff out there. But what I always say, your eyes, your ears, and your nose are the biggest ones. And don't forget your sense of touch. I mean, anything works. You just got to try it. And don't ask the same questions. Is there anyone here? How many people are here with us? Do you know you're dead? I like the one episode of Scooby-Doo where it's an old castle in Mexico or Spain or somewhere. And he goes into this castle supposed to be haunted. And he goes, is there any ghost here? And then all of a sudden the ghost answers, no. What would these people do if they did that? Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this little video. Just a little short, quick one. As you can see, I've got about a 3 to 4 mile hike to get back to the car. At least it's pretty easy. It's all on this railroad system with the Stand By Me bridge. was going to go down it and show you the picture off the side, but you could see they all have all the metal grates up, so I'm not going to try and just walk from board to board. Peace out, everyone.